Meet Ted, Dolores, Mary Jane, and little Timmy, a true American nuclear family. How do you do, fellow family? What was that, Ted? I can't hear you over the sound of the nuclear bomb alarm.
Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix. Welcome to YACC, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I'll talk about it. This week's game is 60 Seconds, Reatomized, and it was developed and published by Robot Gentleman in 2019, and also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. But first, a little backstory. I saw a trailer for this game, and it looked kind of interesting. It has this cartoonish kind of vibe, a lot like the 50s and 60s Fallout, that kind of setting. And it has a very crude and funny humor that I like. So this game takes place in an apocalyptic world where everything has gone down the drain. You play as this family of four, the dad Ted, the mom Dolores, and the kids Timmy and Mary Jane. So the game usually starts with you having 60 seconds to take everything you can into the bunker before the nuclear blast. So you pick up family members and necessary things like cans of food like soup and water and guns and gas masks and maps and deck of cards and really any kind of useful item you can get within those 60 seconds. And after that, you are just in this bunker trying to survive for as long as possible. And the first time I played this game, I lasted on the easiest setting, which is called Little Boy. I survived for 73 days, and I think there is an achievement that is tied to 99 days of surviving. And a lot of crazy stuff happens during this playthrough, and it's kind of this crude humor, as I said before, like there's something about that weird kind of 60s vibe, 50s, 60s vibe and Fallout and this wicked humor. So, you know, there's like the scenario. So the game plays out like you do every day, as you have like a checklist. So either some of the family members want food or drink, or they can have different status effect on and they can get radioactive poison, they can be fatigued, and eventually or inevitably people will die. But this kind of this funny kind of quirk on it, I guess. So you can send family members out into the waste and explore, and usually leads to funny scenarios where you encounter raiders. And this game is structured like you do things and there's a written journal where things and decisions kind of get written off. So you kind of, if you have like an axe, for instance, you can go out into the wasteland with an axe or a gas mask or whatever which item that you have at your disposal. You can return with food or water or other things, but usually the text is a funny part because so many weird occurrences happened. I tried to think of one of them that was kind of funny. There was like this challenge. You play only as little Timmy, and it's inspired by the movie Home Alone. So they have quotes from the actual movie, and exactly as the movie, little Timmy or Kevin or whatever, he tries to stop the robbers from getting into the bunker. So he does all these things that he does in the movie. I didn't survive for long, but it's kind of a funny idea how you take a concept and you make it funny because let's face it, no one wants to live in an apocalyptic world, but it's kind of fascinating, and you know how to survive, and you put little bits of human funny bits in it, and you know it makes a good game. So there are a couple of settings, as I said, like game types. You have like Atomic Drill, which is basically the tutorial, and you have challenges, which survive as just a mom and dad or Timmy, or survive for a couple of days until the raiders arrive or whatever. And there are the main setting, which is called Apocalypse, and they have 3 settings: Little Boy, which is easy, I guess, Fat Man, which is normal, and Sarbon, which is hard. And these are all puns on nuclear warheads. And then you have Scavenge. Just collect the stuff that you can find in your home, and you will have to survive on only that. I didn't play this one, but it sounds really hard because you get stressed out when you have like 60 seconds to pick everything you need, and you bump into chairs, and your characters that you control are awfully clumsy. So yeah. So survival is that you start in the bunker with the random supplies and try to survive on that. I mean, and the game is kind of funny that way. So gameplay: survive as long as you can in this bunker, and that's the basic it. It's like a dark concept, but it's funny with all the written text and consequences, because every choice that you make has a consequence, and it's kind of dark humor. I like that kind of thing. So control, the left stick moves the character or the cursor. In the beginning of the game, we have 60 seconds to pick up stuff. You basically just move the character with the stick. And otherwise you just move there's like a hand or a cursor. In the rest of the game, it's like a 2D style where you click on things and it's basically, I think it was basically made for PC in the beginning. So an X is kind of like the click or the interacting with things. So graphics, this game was made in Unity engine, and it's like this 50s, 60s kind of style, hand-drawn, very reminiscent of the Fallout games. So sound and music, Mikael Ratkovsky made the music, and it's this kind of funny kind of thing. It's not in your face, but it's kind of a more humorous play on things. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny to listen to. It really is not what I thought I would hear in this type of game. It's kind of humorous and whatnot. Paul Sinio made the sound effects, and I think most of the sounds are actually stock sounds, because there's like this sound of a Geiger counter that I've heard in other games, and I think it's like a public library. So yeah, it's kind of a free little indie project, I guess. So in conclusion, it's kind of tricky. I think this game can be played once or twice because the choices kind of repeat themselves, even though it's a bit randomized what will happen in your adventure. So if after playing for like 70 days or something, it's kind of mundane because you have done some of this stuff before. And if you do a whole new like replay of the game, you kind of know what's going to happen if you do certain things. But there's kind of this funny scene if you you can grab different items when you go out into the wasteland. So you can grab an axe or a gun. But I found like the gun was the most useless thing because it's always broke. And it didn't really have a purpose to that. But anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.